Hey Bob, will there be any effect on the real estate market with these proposed tax changes?
Well, initially, it's hard to tell what the tax changes are going to be. The stories of what the tax plan will be are fluctuating as much as, if not more, than the Bitcoin market is going on nowadays. So one day you hear it's benefiting the rich, then it's benefiting the poor, then it's benefiting nobody. A certain deduction is in, a certain deduction is out. But let's focus on the two deductions that probably might affect, there probably will be some sort of revision about, and that's the state and local taxes. Of course, if they do away with that in the New York area, one of the highest locally taxed areas in the country, people will probably not see this as that prime of an area to live in, and there's some argument, may seek to relocate to other places. So that could have a little bit of a depressive effect on home buying and prices. The second tax clause that may be affected is mortgage interest deduction. That's always been a big incentive for home buyers to buy a house, is the mortgage tax deduction. And I think that's sort of a nationwide concept that people who are buying houses throughout the United States are looking for a mortgage tax deduction. But of course, if that's eliminated, that would also have a bit of a depressive effect on the real estate market and prices. Although I did hear, some reports indicating that whenever you have tax changes, there is an immediate effect, but then over a couple of years, it sort of works its way out, and people become used to that situation. That becomes the new normal, and the market will return to the usual status that it was. My guess is that there will probably be some phase in aspect or phase out aspect of those two types of deductions. In other words, if you're buying a $10 million home with a $9 million mortgage, probably you're not going to get a great mortgage tax deduction. But if you're buying maybe $1 million house and an $800,000 mortgage, you will actually probably get some useful deduction from that. Similar to the state and local tax deductions, if you are earning, $20 million, you probably don't need that tax deduction. So they'll phase it out in the higher income levels. But if you're making 50 to 250,000, say, or maybe 500 even, there will be probably some tax phase in or phase out for people within those tax brackets. But initially, uncertainty is not good for any market, and until we see what comes out, uh, we don't know what we don't know what the effect will be. My guess, though, is whatever comes out, there'll be a sort of a phase in or phase out, not a complete elimination of those deductions.